Got a Twosun. Twosun. Not a very good spinner. It does feel kind of bulky though. Feels heavy. Like this has got a presence. Okay, this is a newer model. Yeah, man. I recognize the orange. Yeah, I'm not sure about the safety orange insert. I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'll feel different once I get a good look at it. Sometimes I don't like necessarily getting these out of the bag, man. End up putting a big scratch in the knife or something. Alright, there we go. And then of course you destroy the good bag, and the one that you're left with is the oily bag. Oily man, yep, and it's oily. Yeah, so this is a ts496 in 14C28N steel. I mean, in hand, it started to feel a little lighter than that box as a whole. You know, there's been a few models recently that left me kind of going, ugh, just because of some design anomalies, you know, just some oddness from a pocket knife perspective. From a design, art, you know, over function perspective, they were pretty cool. Let's get that blade out. Oh, yeah. Okay. Detent's pretty stiff, but came to the right place. I know all about messing with a detent. Yeah, it's a little stiff. Got 3 ways in. Got that thumb. Got a Spidey. And back flipper. Look at the milling. It's got nice milling all around the scales. Both sides. Pocket clip doesn't have a lot of tension. Is that, I think, maybe an insert for a glow? And then I think there's another one on the flipper tab. See it? So actually there's one on either side of the flipper tab, and then the one on the pocket clip. That's kind of an interesting feature. I'll be honest, I've never been able to find these little tritium inserts. I've looked. I don't know where to get them. But yeah, pretty cool. I mean, that back flipper, ooh, that thing's money. I'm going to look here and see where we're lined up when I take this apart, because I might take just a little bit off of that. I mean, it's running better now. It's a frame lock. I probably could, let me just manipulate it a little bit. I'll put a little tension on it and run it. See if I can't impact it right now. Alright, let's try it. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little better. I'm still going to get my reference here. I'm just inside the outside edge there. Hey, let's get in it. I know we have to completely disassemble because I got oil squeezing out. Hey, you know what? One of y'all mentioned to me maybe I should check that pocket clip before I take it apart, because then when I take it apart I can manipulate it then versus having to redo it. And I just thought about it on this knife because I'm looking at the distance under there, and I think I've got issues. Plus there wasn't a lot of tension there. So I'm going to check it ahead of time. I mean, it ran all the way on the thick stuff, and that's actually a really good grip on that thick stuff. I think, unfortunately, standard size jeans, it's going to be too loose. Yeah, it would fall out of there. Yep. And the nature of this, the smoothness of that, I'm going to have to put some tension on that to get that to hold well. Same thing here. Yep. But that's okay. Now I know I'll try to throw some tension on that pocket clip before I put it back together. And I am going to mess with that detent, I think. We'll see. Boy, was that screw loose. Whew. But like I was saying, I'm going to have to completely disassemble the knife because there's oil coming up from underneath these G10 inserts. And so my guess is, oh, double roll bearings, nice little bonus. My guess is as I get that out of there, there's going to be a mountain of oil behind it. Yep. Oily man. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, so it needed to come apart. No worries. Man, that's what we do here. It's kind of like being a dentist office and complaining about having to work on teeth, right? I don't think that has to come off. I just got to knock that scale out of there, which I think I can do. There's the collar. There it is. It was just held on suction from the oil that's in there. And then we've got a really nice, high quality, thick washer for the bearing to run on instead of the titanium. Should be another one right there. Yep. Alright, so the only thing left before I start wiping stuff down, I want to look at this and see where we're at. I mean, there's not, like, so that's where it's at now, and that's where it's at when it's locked. There to there, there to there. So it's not much more than a millimeter, so I'm not going to mess with that. It's just I'm going to have to count on it getting smoother, A, by putting some lighter oil in it, B, running the action. Look at this wonderful stone-washed 14C blade. What a piece of stock that is. Beautiful. Yeah, very nice. I mean, I think I'm going to have to say it on this knife. You know, just when you go and then you totally redeem yourself. Yeah, this knife so far is coming together as a pretty nice piece. Simple, you know. Doesn't have a super steel, but it does have like high-end mid-grade steel. That's what I would call 14C. I think it's higher end mid-grade steel. It's not, you know, it's not top tier steel. But it's pretty darn good. Yeah. These G10 inserts could definitely be dyed. You know, that orange, it's funny because, you know, they could be green, the darkest green in the world, and I could hit them with purple and they'll turn purple. But that orange, I've had them produce what I call Merlot. Yeah, not quite purple, not red. Merlot, man. All right. almost there. A couple of pieces and parts here left. I mean, all right, yeah. There's probably a ton of oil behind this backspacer, and I'm sitting there looking at it. One tiny little screw, and I'm going, yeah, I'm not going to take that off. And yeah, it's completely oil soaked. Goof, and it was dirty back there. Isn't that true about laziness? Laziness usually isn't about big stuff, right? Laziness reveals itself in the little things. You know, things that in the end, if we just did them, right? Like they're, you know, like the word lazy doesn't even get involved for somebody not wanting to run a marathon. You know, lazy gets involved for somebody not willing to get up off the couch and walk to the refrigerator. Right? You see what I'm saying? Isn't that weird? Just dumb. Lazy over one little screw. You know, I take thousands of knives apart, and that one little screw, it's like, oh, I'm not going to bother with that. Just ridiculous. How much bend we got here in this? Oh, there we go. I got a little bit in it. Just enough that when I put it back together, so you can see it even now. It's not flat. It was flat. All right, G10, and then we're going to get this thing back together. So yeah, this would take purple, but it's going to give you Merlot for the Broham. A Merlot colored Broham. What's that from? It's a movie reference, but I can't think of it. All right. Wow. Seemed like a lot of wipe down. Let's get it put back together. Might as well put a screw in that. I think they're all the same. There we go. Pivots captured in the bottom scale. Nice big fat stop pin. It's nice to see with a big powerful knife like this. You know, big heavy blade stock, snappy detent. Ooh, yeah, this thing may be slick. I don't think I need that no more. Let's get it out of the way. Start clearing out parts and pieces. I'm gonna put that shiny side down to them bearings. I mean, pretty simple. The pocket clip is recessed into the G10, but not the titanium. But it does have four really straight lines, and so I believe that as long as the screw is kept tight, shouldn't be any issues with it. Even though it's just down into the G10. There it goes. Had to suck it down in there. Let's get all these screws tight now. And let's check our detent, or our pivot. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, buddy, let's run this action a little bit and put a letter to it. Spidey flick is solid. Thumb flick is solid. And of course, I'm hitting it here at this joint right there. You know, I could go lower and it would run much easier. Yeah, like right there. You know, I'm hitting it way up here and it runs, but I could just go lower and get way more leverage. I mean, I'm gonna give it a A minus. It's not quite drop shut, but man, is it hydraulic. It's A level action. You know, if somebody says, "Hey, how's the action on that?" It's an A, brother. You know, it's an A minus, but only because it doesn't just guillotine fall shut. But the way that it runs is really appropriate. No issues at all. Yeah, it runs really well. And this back flipper, it's got just enough jimping on it that, you know, it snags you sharp. And man, is that snappy. There's no way that fails. I'm going to try. Yeah, no chance. Access to the lock bar. This is scalloped really nice here. So not only is the ergonomics going to benefit, but reaching into this lock bar is pretty intuitive. And it's scalloped and there's plenty of room there. The tension on it is minimal. The travel that it's got to go is minimal. And so really easy to unlock it, which is part of that action. You know, it's a total equation. Let's move on to ergonomics. So really comfortable in hand. Nice finger guard from the back flipper. Great platform for the thumb here. And what a traditional knife in hand. And very comfortable. The pocket clip is flat, basically disappears under there. There's no sharp edges anywhere here. Knocked down really well. I mean, let's try that reverse. Yeah, excellent place to cap that thumb there. And even this Pakal backwards grip here, really nice for a hammer. Excellent. Yeah, this thing's got great ergonomics. Let's check the pocket clip again. Let's see if we didn't improve on our standard jeans. Oh yeah, yeah. Now it's got excellent tension in there. I'm not going to call it a dryer clip or an F5, but it's got excellent standard tension. You know, it's not extra duty, but it's excellent. It's really nice. My spot in the back pocket back here. Yeah, I mean, if I go looking for this, it's going to be where I put it. Very smooth in the pocket and out. Wonderful. Yep, I dig it. Nice profile on the pocket clip, especially with that little tritium or iridium insert in there. That would be awesome. Nice little orange poking through the milling on the titanium. It's a good look. Let's check it for safety. See if we can get blade contact. Yeah, so I can touch the blade right there. That very back spot of that blade, I can get my finger on it, and it's that part of the blade right there. And unfortunately, that's not a not sharp spot. That's a sharp piece of steel right there. And so, you know, put my finger, just setting my finger down on the scale right there, I'm touching the blade right there. So the blade's exposed through the back. How about the tip? So this little area raises you up over the tip, so there's no contacting the tip. So the clip's good, the tip's good. However, I'm not confident that I could just manhandle this knife any old way, because if I put pressure down here or slid across that spot right there, I could potentially cut myself. Yep. Speaking of sharp blades, How's that steel? 14C. Yeah. Let's get up on that curve. Yeah. It's wonderfully sharp. No question about it. They did a great job at the Twosun factory and put a wonderful edge on it. Price and availability. I mean, that's what we're down to. Where are they and how much for this wonderful ts496? Okay, so there's some live auctions still on eBay from dwin99. And you know, it's interesting because this is how this goes a lot of times. Here is a wonderful pocket knife. Notwithstanding that, you know, there's this small amount of blade contact here, I'm not going to dismiss that, but I also would not, me personally, I would not consider that if I wanted to purchase this knife. It's just not that big of a deal. I have had a few Twosuns. In all of the models in my collection, there's a couple that the blade exposure is such that I think the knife is dangerous. To me, I'm just saying for me, I've acknowledged that I can make contact. You know, you got to make your own decision with it. But I would say for me, I wouldn't hesitate to purchase this knife at all because of this blade contact. I wish that they would iron it out and stop doing this. Like, just, bro, when the knife's closed, you should not be able to touch the sharp parts. Hence, this is a knife sheath. Like, I just think that somehow they're struggling to understand, like, you should not be able to touch this blade when the knife's closed. You just shouldn't. No, maybe that's just my opinion, man. Maybe there's a whole gaggle of individuals that feel different and go, yeah, it's meaningless, man. You can touch the blade, whatever. Just treat it like a straight blade, right? Like, you know, but a straight blade typically has a sheath. Like, you don't just carry, you know, you don't just tuck this into your pocket with the blade exposed and then pull it out and cut your pocket and all. Anyways, I digress. I wouldn't let this impact my decision. And so here's the point I was going to make. To me, here's a wonderful, functional pocket knife. Like, if I needed or wanted a larger functional pocket knife, like to just throw in my pocket, I'm going to put it to use. I'm going to, you know, cut stuff, beat on it. Like this knife is legit. And like a lot of these Twosuns go, the more legit it is, the more reasonable the price is. The going price in the live auctions on this knife have been bringing just slightly over $60. 14C, titanium, and you know, it's got these G10 inserts here, but just over $60, $60 to $70. And yet then an arty knife that's got form over function will drop, and man, that thing will bring $150 all day long. And it's just, you know, it's more a piece of art than it is a functional knife. Well, here's a functional knife for you, in my opinion. It's a very functional, usable knife. It's legit. It's got great ergonomics, excellent action, good solid materials. I mean, all around, a really nice piece and a reasonable price. So there's live auctions for DWin. I'd follow them up, but I'd be thinking, you know, 75-ish is kind of max. But let's say you're impatient. You don't want to wait, you know, 3 to 5 weeks from China. You don't want to deal with all that. And you just want the knife. Well, White Mountain Knives has it in stock for $89. Well, use the code in the coupon section, put it in your cart, go to the cart, and there's a coupon section. Put in DM10, DM10, and they'll take 10% off of that $89. Brings it right down to about $80. It's a little more than eBay, but let's say you paid $75 on eBay. Well, if you've got 10% tax, you're going to put $7.50 right back on top of it because you got to pay tax. So that puts it, you know, a $75 purchase for some of you. Oh, pardon me. I'm talking too much. I need a drink. But it takes $75 and puts it up at $82. Well, for $80 at White Mountain Knives, that's no tax, free shipping. Yeah. So there it is, man. That's the pricing and availability. It's a solid piece, man. ts496, 14C28N. And, I carry my Bravo 1 occasionally. This could easily take the place of that Bravo 1. It's just a really good, solid, functional pocket knife. Appreciate you watching.